This apostille job took me 6 states to complete, including DC, embassy, and I had a repeat corporate attorney who needed my services. We love that. And they were power of attorneys going to one Hague country, one non-Hague country. So the Hague country was super easy, simple, straightforward, one leg. The non-Hague country, that was a whole different beast. It was actually my first non-Hague request, and it taught me a lot of things. So non-Hague, if you're familiar, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar and you're interested in doing apostilles, the non-Hague countries have additional steps. So I think it's about 3 legs instead of 1. And by legs, I mean, right, if you ran track, right, you're passing the baton to someone else. So where I pass the baton to someone else, or taking it to one place, if I'm the one that's doing it, that's 1 leg. Right, so this has 3 legs instead of 1 in comparison to a Hague country. So it goes to the state as usual. That's the first leg. It goes to the Secretary of State, wherever it was originated from, and then it goes to the U.S. Department of State, which is in DC. It goes there. That's the second leg, and then it goes to the embassy. Now, sometimes it can stay in DC if the embassy services those documents, but I'll come back to that in a second. The curveball on this deal happens where the original documents were notarized in California. Fine, no problem. Found me a courier. Shout out to Dina with Eagle Eye Notary in Cali. She helped me out and took them, and that's where we realized that the original notary, because Dina was not my original notary, she was just the courier on this deal. The original notary improperly notarized the original documents. Huge gasp. I was freaking out because I also have like this timeline. I have a 4-week timeline. A 4-week timeline. Originally, I'm like, yeah, like no problem. I know it's still tight regardless because of everywhere that it needs to go. We still had a tight timeline. So that was like freaking me out that the documents were rejected and now we're figuring out what to do. They have to get them re-executed, but we couldn't re-execute them in California because there was no representative in the company in California at that time. So pays Dina for her time, and they're like, do you have notaries in Colorado? So now I need to find a notary in Colorado to do this for me. So that's why we're on our 3rd state now, right? The client is in New York. I'm in New Jersey. They get shipped to me. I ship them to California. And then 4 states, it might be 7 states actually. And now I am communicating new docs, like those docs are scrapped. New docs are now being re-executed in Colorado. So we get them signed in Colorado. Rise Notary, is it Davy? I think that we only texted, so I'm not sure how to pronounce. But with Rise Notary in California, Colorado, she helped me out on this deal. And that was also great. Very responsive. Got there, picked them up. They used their in-office notary. Got there, picked them up, and took them to the Colorado Secretary of State. And I believe I got them back like the next day they were completed. Great. Wonderful. The Saudi Arabia documents, the Hague documents go straight back to my client. I sent that out. So within like 2 weeks of me getting the job, I was able to complete the job for the first set of documents. But I was freaking out, like having to start over. So side note, pivot, this is why I say to make sure that you know what you're doing as a notary, because you don't know what you're messing up. That original notary got paid for their work, and it totally fudged up what the client was actually trying to do with those documents. But I digress. So we had to reset, new shipping. I essentially end up paying what, $100 to get it to the notary. More than that, $100 shipping to get it to California because this was a rush job. I paid the notary, that was almost $200, and then shipping to California, more money. So I would say close to $200, and we're not even super getting started yet because of that notary. Did I get paid for my time? Yes, but my whole point is this is money that's being spent that didn't necessarily have to be spent if the original documents were done correctly. So that's the curveball. So now we're in Colorado. I'm in New Jersey. The courier is in DC. So after the Hague document goes back, the Hague documents make it back to New York. Great. And now we have the non-Hague. The non-Hague documents now need to go to the Secretary of State. As I mentioned, we get there to the Secretary of State. It takes 10 days to process. Mind you, I already lost a week. Now we're losing 2 business weeks. We're losing 2 weeks before they're due. Back to my client. My deadline was June 11th to have them back. Freaking out. We're freaking out. We get them there, and then I'm calling now because there is a embassy in DC. So this is why I make the comment of it probably could have stayed in DC. And shout out to Pam in DC. She helped me out. And she updated me on everything. They had the documents. It took exactly the 10 business days, which was around it's Memorial Day. Yeah, around Memorial Day. Okay, great. They were done that week, and now I have to send them to Houston. Right? Sending them to Houston, I have to call several notaries. People don't answer the phone. They don't have updated information. Insane. And they don't know the prices. But that's a topic for another video. They have to go to Houston. I called the Qatar embassy in DC, and they said that they do not notarize. They do not authenticate documents that are originating from Colorado. The embassy in Houston processes documents for Colorado. Who would have known, right? Which I also think is crazy. So yeah, I had to double check with the embassies, what they do, how much money do I need? I needed to write a letter to them of what the documents were with the company, and I'm sending it on the behalf of the company. So that was crazy. I sent it to the notary. Then it gets there, and there's also a Muslim holiday that they were closed for an entire week. And by the time she gets the documents, they were still closed, but they were open the following Monday because it was the end of the holiday week. I could have gotten them back a little bit earlier, but whatever. I'm freaking out because, again, we still got some time. And now that also means that they're going to be backed up. Typically, according to the call that I had with the embassy, they can process them in about a week or so. My battery's dying. Process it in about a week or so. However, with them being closed, they were definitely backed up. So it took about an additional 4 days. We're cutting on time now. I only have a week to get them back to my client. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Every leg costs a separate courier cost, right? I paid 4 different notaries on this deal. Right, and each time I had to pay shipping to send to said notary, and for the notary to ship it wherever. So every day, that there was a delay, I was losing my mind. Right, so here's some takeaways from this deal. I was freaking out. The deal did get done. I have short versions. That's gonna be the little 3-part series of what this was like for me. But yes, a few takeaways from this. If you're considering apostille work, definitely make sure that you know what you're getting into. I know people say just do it, but I took a Judy Lawrence course on apostilles. I also have her book, but that helped me know the process and know a few other notaries that have done apostille so that you can get some feedback, ask some questions, because if I never took any class or had anybody to ask a question, I would have been freaking out. It was a good money making opportunity, and also a teaching lesson as well, to know what I'm doing and have a small community of people, of notaries built, so that I can get the job done, because without them I wouldn't have been able to get the job done. Their professionalism and them being great at what they do really helped me achieve being able to come through for my client. Right, so this is the kind of job that definitely sets you apart from that I just notarize things versus, hey, I have a community to help do whatever you need and help you authenticate things, right? attorney wasn't sure if this is something that I can do. He was just like, hey, like the documents are in California, because the previous job that I helped him with was basic. I met the client in Hoboken. I took the documents and I got them apostille in Jersey. Boom, simple. He wasn't sure if I can help it because it was in a different state, but I got you. Don't worry. I'll help you figure it out. He told me that they were originally rejected. It was a whole thing. So I helped complete the job for the client, and hopefully, you know, they'll continue to use me again in the future because I got it done. I met the deadline. I met the deadline from the skin of my effing teeth. Like, by this much. By this much. They were due the June 11th, which was a Wednesday. I got them back, I believe it's June 8th. I think, right? 2 days before. Yeah, 3 days before. I got them the Monday. The Monday, like 9 a.m. Went to my office, took the scans from my client, confirmed where they would be shipping to, and it got done. I was so happy it got done. It took like 4 weeks to get that done. Mind you, a week was missed because of the error. So really it would have took like 3 weeks. So now I know something that's like non-Hague might take like 3 or 4 weeks, and that's going to be the timeline that I can now give other clients when they're looking for things to go to a non-Hague country. But yeah, that was a crazy deal for me. I was going through a lot trying to find notaries and figuring out and organizing. It was a great experience and I can't wait to do it again. But again, notaries know what you're doing. It was just a simple power of attorney, nothing too deep, and their notary certificate was completed wrong. So now the thing is void. It was rejected, and you cost the client time, you cost me time, and I almost didn't make it. So please, 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 I'm always pleading to make sure that you know what you're doing on the notary end. You didn't have to know what the F was going on with the document because it didn't matter. The notary's piece was wrong. You need to know how to fill out a notary certificate. That's what's going to eat you up almost every single time, is knowing what you need to do on your end of a notary. That's going to eat you up almost every single time. Every single time. That's what's going to eat you up. Drop a comment if you want me to talk about how I broke down that structure, which really was just a lot of like my out-of-pocket costs of what it costs to pay shipping, and now how I may restructure my pricing for apostilles. Like, if you are curious, like, drop a comment below. And maybe I'll make a video about that. Yes, thank you as always for watching. If you learned something from this video, please also like and subscribe. Let a girly know in the comments. If you are interested in apostilles, also let me know. It's easy until it's not, but you definitely need to get some sort of training to familiarize yourself, for when the opportunity is there, you have answers and you know at least the process, right? Like, I didn't know about a non-Hague, but I knew that it had the extra steps. I already knew that, but now it's time to take the lessons that I've learned and put them to action. So at least learning about it before it comes up is always great. But anywho, I'm not going to keep you here any longer. As always, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share with a notary friend, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.